Ease of living movement has been going on in India since last 6 years, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi while laying the foundation stone for Manipur water supply project through video conferencing. Prime Minister says this project has been designed keeping in mind the needs of the next 20 to 22 years. Also says the Jal Jeevan mission is moving forward as a mass movement. Prime Minister says Northeast is the gateway for our ancient cultural relations and future trade, travel and tourism relations with East Asia. Says Northeast has the potential to become the growth engine of the country's development. Also says modern infrastructure is being laid in Northeast along with roadways, highways, airways, waterways and highways as well as gas pipelines. Home Minister Amit Shah starts tree plantation drive, inaugurates 6 eco-parks through video conferencing, says trees are human friends and will protect human beings from negative effects of constantly rising temperatures. Also says coal imports will have to be zero to achieve Prime Minister's dreams of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar unveils National Transit Pass System, one permit for whole India to enhance seamless movement of forest produce, national portal to generate online transit permit. Supreme Court defers hearing till Monday on the petition of Rajasthan Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi. Supreme Court hasn't stayed proceedings in High Court. High Court is scheduled to order tomorrow. War against COVID-19 continues. After Chhattisgarh, Bhopal, Manipur, Jammu and Kashmir and West Bengal move towards lockdown, recovery rate across India crosses 63% and 7,53,000 people cured so far. Worldwide, COVID-19 infection cases cross 15 million. Hello, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting this bulletin. In the next half an hour, we'll get an account of everything that's been making it to the headlines. Our top story first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today laid the foundation stone of Manipur water supply project through video conferencing. The Governor, Chief Minister of Manipur and his cabinet colleagues, MPs and MLAs joined the program from Imphal. The centre has initiated the Jal Jeevan mission to provide safe and adequate quantity drinking water to every rural household of the country by 2024 with the motto Har Ghar Jal. The mission is based on a community approach to water and has information, education and communication as key components of the mission. And while inaugurating the project, Prime Minister said that the project will not only help cope up with water-related issues in the state, but will also provide employment to the youth. He added that water line project will work as lifeline for Manipur. Prime Minister also said that the project has been designed to cater to the needs of the state for more than 20 years.
लगभग 3,000 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से पूरे होने वाले मणिपुर वाटर सप्लाई प्रोजेक्ट से यहां के लोगों को पानी की दिक्कतें कम होने वाली है। ग्रेटर इंफाल सहित छोटे बड़े 25 शहर और कस्बे 1700 से ज्यादा गांवों के लिए इस प्रोजेक्ट से जो जलधारा निकलेगी, ये जलधारा जीवन धारा का काम करेगी। इस प्रोजेक्ट से लाखों लोगों को घर में पीने का साफ पानी तो उपलब्ध होगा ही, हजारों लोगों को रोजगार भी मिलेगा।
Prime Minister reiterated that since last 6 years, ease of living has improved in India. He added that ease of living has turned out to be a mission in the country.
भारत में ईज ऑफ लिविंग का भी एक बहुत बड़ा आंदोलन चल रहा है। भारत अपने नागरिकों को जीवन की हर जरूरी सुविधा देने का प्रयास कर रहा है। बीते 6 साल में हर स्तर पर, हर क्षेत्र में वो कदम उठाए गए हैं जो गरीब को, सामान्य जन को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए प्रोत्साहित कर सके।
Prime Minister expressed gratitude to people of Manipur for giving mandate to N. Biren Singh-led government in the state. He highlighted that the Northeast, which was ill-famed for blockades, is now known for its peace, prosperity and development.
अब पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में शांति की स्थापना हो रही है। जहां से पहले सिर्फ नेगेटिव खबरें ही आती थी, वहां अब पीस, प्रोग्रेस और प्रॉस्पेरिटी का मंत्र गूंज रहा है। एक तरफ जहां मणिपुर में ब्लॉकेड इतिहास का हिस्सा बन चुका है, मेरी तरफ से नॉर्थ ईस्ट के नागरिकों का, विशेष करके मणिपुर के नागरिकों का हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं कि आपने हमें साथ दिया, मेरे शब्दों को ताकत दी और आज ब्लॉकेड बीते हुए कल की बात बन गई।
Prime Minister said that clusters have been set up for value addition to the local products so that products of Manipur can have access to world market.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट की एक विशेषता है, उनको लोकल के लिए गर्व होता है। अब आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान के तहत लोकल प्रोडक्ट्स में वैल्यू एडिशन और उसकी मार्केटिंग के लिए क्लस्टर विकसित किए जा रहे हैं। इन क्लस्टर्स में एग्रो स्टार्टअप्स और दूसरी इंडस्ट्री को हर सुविधाएं दी जाएगी। ऐसे में नॉर्थ ईस्ट के ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स को देश और विदेश के मार्केट्स तक पहुंचाने के लिए हर जरूरी सुविधा नजदीक से ही मिलने वाली है।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah today launched Vriksharopan Abhiyan in New Delhi. Amit Shah planted a sapling on the occasion. Coal, Mines and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi was also present on the occasion. Union Home Minister Amit Shah hailed the initiatives taken under the current government to make the nation self-reliant in many aspects. He said that India has embarked on its journey to be self-sufficient in terms of coal production.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पर्यावरण के क्षेत्र के अंदर दुनिया का नेतृत्व करने की स्थिति उत्पन्न करी है। 8 करोड़ घरों के अंदर धुआं दूर कर कर, लकड़ियां और टहनियां और कंडे जलाकर जो माताएं बहनें रसोई करती थी, उनके स्वास्थ्य का तो नुकसान होता ही था, परंतु साथ में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का उत्सर्जन भी होता था। आज स्वच्छ ईंधन एलपीजी सिलेंडर देकर पर्यावरण की बहुत बड़ी सेवा की है। सौर ऊर्जा के लिए देश में भारत नेतृत्व करे, इस प्रकार की व्यवस्था खड़ी की है। देश दुनिया में सौर ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में सबसे बड़ा उत्पादन करने वाले देशों में से एक होगा।
The Home Minister highlighted the key achievements in the coal sector. He said that new reforms introduced in the last 6 years have made the sector globally competitive. He also lauded the decision of commercial mining and said that it will further reduce India's dependency on coal imports.
6 सालों का देखें तो कोयला मंत्रालय ने अनेक नए इनिशिएटिव मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में दी है और प्रहलाद भाई ने ये 1-1.25 साल के अंदर इसको बहुत गति देने का काम किया है। पहले जब कोयला और खनिज की खदानें होती थी, तब खनिज क्षेत्र के मजदूरों के लिए, वो वहां की जनता के लिए कोई विचार नहीं करता था। डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिनरल फंड का गठन कर आज लगभग 39,000 करोड़ रुपया नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने वो क्षेत्र जहां खदानें लगी हैं इसके विकास के लिए लगाया है और 35,000 छोटे छोटे प्रकल्प अब तक पूरे कर दिए गए।
Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, unveiled the National Transit Pass system to ensure seamless movement of forest produce across all the states. The National Transit Pass system will benefit ease of movement of all timber, bamboo and other forest produce. Union Minister highlighted that this automated transit system will enhance trade opportunities across the states and will minimize hardships of the farmers.
जो लकड़ी एक राज्य से दूसरे राज्य में जा रहा है तो इतनी यातायात होती थी, इतनी तकलीफ होती थी। अब नेशनल ट्रांजिट पास सिस्टम के द्वारा मोबाइल ऐप से आप एप्लीकेशन कर सकते हैं और मोबाइल ऐप पर ही आपको ई पास मिलेगा। ये जो सुविधा हो रही है, ऑफिस में जाना नहीं पड़ेगा, लोगों की मूवमेंट फास्ट होगी और इससे ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस तो होता ही है, लेकिन हम देश एक तरक्की की ओर जाता है।
The Supreme Court today heard the appeal filed by Rajasthan Assembly Speaker against High Court's order that stayed any coercive action against former Deputy Chief Minister and MLA Sachin Pilot and 18 other MLAs till 24th of July. The Apex Court has deferred the hearing till Monday. And also, it hasn't stayed the proceedings in High Court, but said that the High Court judgment will be subject to the outcome of Supreme Court's final order. High Court's order will not be implemented as Supreme Court is seized of the question raised by Speaker on the High Court's jurisdiction. High Court is scheduled for order tomorrow. The Speaker also told the Apex Court that he would not proceed with the disqualification pleas against 19 rebel MLAs, including Sachin Pilot, till Supreme Court decides the issue. Let's get you a quick update on the COVID-19 situation in the country. New data has been released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Over 7.8 lakh COVID patients have recovered so far. The cumulative figures of recovered cases among COVID-19 patients has risen to 7,82,606 as on date. The recovery rate has improved to 63.18%. Medical attention is being provided to all the 4,26,167 active cases in hospitals and home isolation. The case fatality rate in the country stood at 2.41%. India has one of the lowest case fatality rates in the world. 29,861 patients have died so far. In Arunachal Pradesh, the state has registered a new high in single-day increase in the cases. 91 new cases during the last 24 hours were reported, taking its tally of confirmed cases to 949. The state has 632 active cases with 314 recoveries, along with 3 fatalities. Now, according to the Health Department, out of 632 active COVID cases, 208 persons belonging to paramilitary forces in the state have been infected. Meanwhile, rapid antigen tests are being conducted in different places in the capital region, Itanagar. 20 teams for these rapid tests are working and have conducted more than 2,000 antigen tests yesterday. However, the lockdown continues in Itanagar and will continue till 3rd of August morning. Some other districts in the state also have imposed lockdown or strict norms for opening of markets and movement of people. In Manipur, the state government announced a 14-day complete lockdown in the entire state starting from today afternoon. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh said that the decision was taken by the state cabinet in an emergency meeting held in view of the rising cases of COVID-19, particularly of those without travel history. However, all essential services will be exempted from the purview of the lockdown. In West Bengal, the statewide fresh lockdown has been announced for 2 days a week to combat the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this week, today and next Saturday are scheduled as lockdown days. While lockdown will be held on next Wednesday, the other day of the next week for lockdown will be announced on next Monday. Though the strict lockdown is being imposed, essential services have been exempted as earlier. The fresh lockdown twice a week has been announced in West Bengal because of spike in the number of affected people. The scheduled 2 days of weekly lockdown will be intermitted on every Monday. In Bhopal, the state government has announced 10 days lockdown from tomorrow. The lockdown has been imposed in view of the steady rise in COVID-19 cases. Lockdown will come into effect from 8 p.m. tomorrow and will remain in force till 8 a.m. on August 4th. Supply of vegetables and milk and essential services will remain open along with industries. To stem the spread of COVID-19, Jammu and Kashmir administration has imposed a 6-day lockdown in all the red districts from yesterday. Lockdown will remain in force until July 27th. Out of the 10 districts in the valley, 9 have been declared as red zones, while Bandipora in North Kashmir is the only district not to fall in this category. Movement of essential and emergency services will remain unaffected. All agriculture, horticulture and construction activities would continue as per DMRR guidelines. Also, movement of goods carriers and LPG and oil tankers will remain unhindered. However, all non-essential offices, commercial and other establishments will remain closed, and no inter-district movement will be allowed without a valid permission. Assam flood situation has worsened further in the past 24 hours, affecting over 2 lakh more people, taking the total number of affected people to over 26 lakh. As on date, rain, landslides and flood-induced fatalities in the state have touched 115, with 89 deaths due to floods. That include 2 new deaths yesterday and 26 deaths due to landslides. Goalpara district remains worst hit with about 4.7 lakh flood-affected people, followed by Barpeta, Moregaon and Dhubri. The mighty river Brahmaputra in Dibrugarh, Jorhat, Sonitpur, Goalpara and Dhubri districts is still flowing above the danger level, while water level has started rising again as downpour has continued since last 3 to 4 days. Presently, 2,525 villages under 75 revenue circles in 26 districts, along with above 1.15 lakh hectares of cropland are submerged. With IMD predicting heavy to very heavy rains likely at isolated places in the state, the administration and district authorities have tasks cut out in the coming days. Now, at present, about 45,000 inmates are taking shelter at 281 relief camps around the state. The situation in flood-hit areas of Bihar remains grim. However, rainfall intensity decreased in the state during past 24 hours, leading to reduced discharge of water from the barrages. Despite weak rain activity, major rivers including Gandak, Bagmati, Kosi and Mahananda have been flowing above the danger level mark. Areas of Sitamarhi, Darbhanga, East and West Champaran, Saharsa, Supaul, Muzaffarpur, Saran and Gopalganj have been severely affected. NDRF and SDRF teams have been deployed for relief and rescue operations in Betia, Motihari, Gopalganj, Muzaffarpur and Darbhanga. More than 4 lakh people in over 10 districts have been impacted. Today is National Broadcasting Day. On this day in 1927, the first ever radio broadcast in the country went on air from Bombay Station under the Indian Broadcasting Company. On the 8th of June 1936, the Indian State Broadcasting Service became All India Radio. Since then, radio has remained an integral part of people's lives in India and has been a continuous source of information, education and entertainment. Currently, AIR is one of the largest public broadcasting organizations in the world. In a tweet, Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has wished people of the country on National Broadcasting Day. He said that radio is the only medium of entertainment which is most accessible source of news across the country. And today is the birth anniversary of veteran freedom fighter Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu tweeted to pay homage to the great leader. And I quote him, "I salute the fame of Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the ideal man, and his virtuous memory on his birth anniversary. He was the pioneer of such noble ideas before the nation." Today also marks the birth anniversary of Indian revolutionary leader Shahid Chandrasekhar Azad. He is also known as Azad. Vice President has also tweeted to pay tributes to Chandrasekhar Azad. In a tweet, Vice President said, and I quote him, "On the occasion of the birth anniversary of Amar Shahid Chandrasekhar Azad, I salute the memory of the remarkable young hero. Youth aspirations and expectations are the keys for any movement to be successful. Nationalist heroes like Chandrasekhar Azad linked freedom movement with the youth aspirations and set the model for them. My tribute to the young revolutionary." And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted and paid tribute to both the veterans. Prime Minister tweeted, and I quote him, "Salute to the two brave sons of Mother India, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Chandrasekhar Azad, on their birth anniversary." Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar also remembered Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Chandrasekhar Azad on their birth anniversaries. He tweeted, and I quote him, "Salute to Bal Gangadhar Tilak on his birthday. He was an Indian nationalist, teacher, social reformer, lawyer and a freedom fighter. Swarajya is my birthright and I will get it," was his very famous quote. Prakash Javadekar also tweeted on Chandrasekhar Azad's birth anniversary. He said, "Salute to the heroic son of Bharat Mata, Chandrasekhar Azad, on his birth anniversary." In an interview ahead of a ceremony to mark a year to go to the 2021 Games in Tokyo, International Olympic Committee President has said that the rearranged Tokyo Olympics can be a symbol of hope for the world. The International Olympic Committee took the unprecedented step of postponing the Games earlier this year. No Olympics have been postponed before in peacetime. He also said that he was confident that the measures are being put in place to protect the athletes and people working at the Olympics from COVID-19 would enable them to take place in July and August next year.
These Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020 in 21, can, should and will be the light at the end of the tunnel where all humankind is in at this moment. We are living a period of great uncertainty. And then at the end of this very difficult period for humankind, the Olympic Games can be a great symbol there of hope, of optimism, of solidarity, and of the unity in all our diversity.
And back home, the stimulus economic package given by the central government to extend support to small-scale industries at the time of COVID-19 pandemic has proven to be a big relief to such industries. Up next, we'll take a look at how the package has benefited industries in Meerut and has pushed them further on the path of self-reliance. Take a look.
The coronavirus pandemic has had negative effects on economies around the globe. But the central government in India in these trying times has been a bright ray of hope. In Meerut district, under the central government's Guaranteed Emergency Credit Line scheme, more than 7,000 small-scale entrepreneurs were given a loan of Rs 217 crores which have rejuvenated industries. The industries were shut down and were facing a financial crisis at the time of COVID-19 lockdown. This essential step of the government has immediately provided loans to industries that gave employment to workers, and the industries have started their business again.
मेरठ जिले में कुल 6,700 ऋण विभिन्न बैंकों द्वारा इस योजना के तहत दिए गए हैं, जिसमें 217 करोड़ का ऋण वितरित किया गया है.
In many countries of the world, this company exported nails from Meerut. It had slowed down in the lockdown, but due to economic relief package of the central government, the wheel of this company has started rolling again. In the same way, Many such industries in Meerut have been benefited from the scheme.
मैं बहुत आभारी हूँ प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का कि उन्होंने ऐसे राहत पैकेज हम उद्यमियों के लिए निकाला है। और जैसे कि हम नेल्स बनाते हैं और हमारा जो है एक्सपोर्ट का काम है और हमारे काम के लिए बहुत बेनिफिशियल रहा हमें पैकेज ये।
बैंकों की तरफ से जो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक योजना निकाली थी GCL, जिसमें 20 लाख करोड़ की स्कीम निकाली, उसके अंदर बैंक द्वारा हमें भी अपने कार्य को सुचारू रूप से चलाने के लिए प्लस जो आगे के कुछ और स्कीम्स हैं भाई काम को अपलिफ्ट करें, जैसे भी इस परेशानी से निकलने के लिए 14 लाख रुपए देकर लाभान्वित किया गया।
Keeping in mind all the safety and hygiene measures during the coronavirus pandemic, these small-scale industries of Uttar Pradesh have become a source of employment to people. With financial aid from the central government, these industries have started blooming again. They are also playing major role in strengthening the economic status of the country. Anuj Yadav's report, DD News, Meerut.
And with that, we end this bulletin here. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.